Alrighty. Welcome back, Closet Tears. Sorry, I just had some PB&J. Good old... Shit's all out of whack here. Fuck. That's odd. Whatever, here we are, another week. I'm just, and as you can see, this is why I do not let my hair get very long. Oh, I'm about to... Woo! Anyhow, yeah, I'll keep this kind of short. This week we get into a little more post-apocalypse, as always. And we talk about some controversial stuff, namely, we get into some cancel culture bullshit, because that's what it is. It's all bullshit. Kind of like most things are bullshit. Motherfucker, hold on. No, I do not want to update my Apple or my iTunes. Fuck off. Alright. And we also get into some mental stuff. I go into my theory about the mind and the brain, which, you know, hopefully some of you will find interesting. And I'm still repping the old the Macho Man merch. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna get out of here, and I will let you guys enjoy the rest of the show. We are rocking on Closet Tears. Show is 18 episodes in. This show is 18, and it's got me what it wants. Back in it. Are we getting some sound? Are we getting... Okay, good. Last thing I want... The last thing you want is a podcast that doesn't have any sound. So... Sorry. Just finishing off this blunt from last time. Fuck. It's always the best part, isn't it, when the filter doesn't quite work the way you need it to. And, for those of you who can see, this is the first episode in a while with no glitches in the video. I wish I could take credit for that, but I don't know why. I'll just be thankful. Be thankful to the universe. Shut the fuck up. I'm thanking science. Thank you, Lord Elon, for making my video work. Oh, man. You know what? I think this thing's done anyway. Which is unfortunate. But the show must go on. Quite literally. Alright. So, yeah. Like I said, we're 18. Our show's at the end of high school now. Just about. We're almost there. Or... Well, no, this is actually the end of the 18th week, I guess, kind of. So, our show is a freshman in college now. And by our, I mean mine. So, I do have a bunch of things for you guys, but first things up, another contribution from Tavour. The Bad Apple, Imperial Apple Cider from Two Towns Cider House. And it is, wow, 10%. Fuck. I wonder if that's including everything, though. Let me see. Crafted in Oregon. Well, as it is with any beer that comes in a big bottle, it's gonna fuck me up. So, but might as well get into it. Try it out. Little homage to Your Mom's House podcast that I like myself. That you guys would like too, especially if you're not, full of shit. Might as well turn my fan up a bit. Whoa! Alright, I think I just figured it out. So my webcam, my fan, and my microphone are all connected to one USB hub, and I guess it must be a power thing. Because, yeah, that was me just trying to turn my fan up, but it went to shit, so good to know. Alright, let's see what this stuff's like. Oh, it even smells strong. It's not bad. Doesn't kick you like wine or like a stronger ale would. Stronger ale is in, this size. So it's wow, already. Guess there was a little bit. Actually, I wonder if I have any left. Oh, fuck. I could do up the bong, but I don't feel like busting that out right now. Maybe next week I'll hit the bong for you guys. But for now, it's just gonna be me and that bottle. Anyways, I'm rocking the old Napalm Death merch. This is actually that's actually kind of a funny story. I was, as you know, I used to technically still work at a venue. We had, fuck, I just forgot the name again. Oh yeah, we've had Parkway Drive a couple times, which is a nice metal band. You know what I mean. Well, they were nice. They were quite nice. I liked them, but anyways, they're a metal band out of Australia, actually, and well, the second time that they were through, their some of their sound equipment had some shit going on, and things broke, and the show got cut a little bit early, but not by much. I think if I remember right, they only lost like the last 2 songs on their set, but unfortunately for them and for the bands before, it was like their shit was getting really crackly and in and out, which is unfortunate. But anyways, I'm not talking about the second time that they were in town here in LA. The first time everything went off without a hitch, and I was in the barricade, which I'm not usually posted there anymore, but a show like that, which is what we call an active crowd, especially active in this case, and what that means is that there's a high chance of people coming over. Well, there's going to be mosh pit, but then there's a high chance of people coming over the barricade, right? Which means that it's our job to catch them and make sure that they don't, bust their head open. Which I've only seen one. I've only seen one kid not get caught, and he was lucky enough to. He fell on his back, but yeah, it could have been a lot worse. And it wasn't my fault. I will say that. And actually, you know what? That was actually at the second time that we had Parkway Drive. But anyways, I'm getting away from my story. And I guess it's not really a story that much, but anyways, the first time they were there, once Parkway went up, and it was just, all bets were off. Fucking sleeves were off, I guess you could say. But, or the gloves came off. That's the phrase I was looking for. But, so yeah, there were just mad people just rolling over the barricade, sometimes on top of each other, a lot of crowd surfing. And to make matters worse, every once in a while, like, the lights would just completely dip out and then go up later. So there were a couple times where, like, I just barely managed to, fumble my flashlight out so I could, like, shine and see, because, the only thing scarier than, like, trying to catch somebody is when you suddenly can't see anything, right? But, and, there's people flying everywhere. And, of course, people are, like, throwing, jackets and towards the end of the show, like, the lights came back on during one song, and I saw this hat just, like, lying in front of my feet in the barricade. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And, well, the Napalm Death is a band that I kind of haven't really gotten around to them yet. And, well, nowadays I'm mostly just, listening to podcasts, like, all the time, because, not much else to do anymore. But, I knew who they are still. So, yeah, I scooped it up and just kind of clipped it to the back of my pants when it was, when the lights went down. And actually, I saw it when the lights were up, and then, they turned them out again for a little bit, and that's when I was just like, snag that shit up, clipped it to my belt, took it home and washed it, and that's mine now. So, there's some unlucky kid out there who lost his Napalm Death hat at a show in Hollywood. And, well, if you're out there, you're listening, I've been taking very good care of it. No tears. No damage. I've been taking very good care of it. And whoever you are, thank you. Or maybe you don't give a shit. Who knows? Ooh. Oh yeah, I felt the kick there a little bit. See, nothing on the camp either, just black. I wonder I should... I was thinking of doing, like, some kind of artwork thing with bottle caps. I might have to, do that around here somewhere. Although there isn't... I guess it's a little bit behind my head. Oh, right here, maybe. No, that's too small. There's not a lot of space for me to put up more artwork in here. Or something. I was like, well, I guess I could push the camera back a little bit, but then you wouldn't be able to see me as well. I'd be too small. Alright, so I have some more post-apocalypse for you guys. So let's see what I got. The show articles. Oh, here, this one's a really old one. Okay, beginning of July, so I guess it's not that old. Charlizetheron said it's heartbreaking being recast in Mad Max prequel. So, I'm sure you all remember the, oh wow, that was a while ago. 2015, Fury Road came out with, Charlize Theron and, what was his name? I don't even remember who played Mad Max. Bane. I don't know. It'll come to me. I'm not going to look it up. You look it up. Do your own work. But anyways, yeah, she played one of the main characters. And apparently they're making a prequel movie. And she is not going to be playing that character anymore, which is too bad. Because who doesn't like Charlize Theron, right? Whatever. It's sad. But, and if that makes you sad, this might make you infuriated. Furious. Next up is rich people pay $25,000 per ticket for a Hamptons Chainsmokers concert with no social distancing. So, obviously, and you know, I hate the word social distancing, but I mean, I get it. You gotta have a term that you can use that just kind of explains everything you want to put across. I wish there was a better term, but yeah. So apparently, someone had a private concert in the Hamptons, which is it's in Long Island, I believe, if I remember right. Like kind of more towards the tip off of the ocean. It's the rich part, right? Or one of. And so I guess the story here is that apparently, you know, they did have people spaced out. Everybody had like tables and it was like a dinner thing. But then, yeah, once they got up and started playing, after a while, people would just like get up and sort of move up to the front. Which is kind of bullshit because according to, I don't really know who according to, but apparently a lot of the more recent outbreaks that we've been having with the coronavirus are due to, you know, private parties and stuff like that where people just, you know, all clump up together and don't give a shit, and then all of a sudden they just start getting sick. So more than, or as opposed to what people think about, like, oh, it's coming from the protests. Well, you know, people in the protests were actually wearing masks and, you know, all that kind of shit. Whereas here, you know, they're just basically living their life as if nothing's happening. So, thanks, assholes. Alright, next is, oh, this one's kind of cool. Oakland City Council approves resolution to keep cities safe from Trump's federal agents. So this is, of course, in response to, you know, the bullshit that's happening up in Portland, where, quote-unquote federal agents basically just sort of started showing up and grabbing people off the street. No identification, you know, none of that stuff, right? There's nothing to mark out who they are. And, well, the scary thing about that is because, you know, these are just, technically, legally, these are just, like, random people in camouflage and guns, right? So, you know, whenever, you know, you see these people roll up, or they're coming at you, you have to make a choice, because either A, they are actual federal agents, and if you fight them, you'll get in trouble. The other side of that coin is that they are not federal agents, and they're just like white supremacist stuff, where if you don't fight them, they might take you somewhere and kill you. So, you know, that's it's very problematic. I'll just put it that way. And, well, I mean, I'm going to post up the article for you guys to read. And then I'm going to move on to the next one, which is Donald Trump suggests delay to 2020 U.S. presidential election. I don't think we really need to, I think you can see where the issue is there, right? He's been, now trying to push back the election somehow. don't know how that's going to happen, but I'm sure, unfortunately, the wrong kind of people are going to go along with it. I mean, if you're really scared about, people not wanting to elect you again, then fucking leave, He's going to have to, because if he gets voted out, I think he's... little panpipe action going on there. Hold on a second. I wouldn't be surprised if once he leaves office, he might have to look at either, exile, basically, or going to jail for hopefully a very long time. Speaking of corruption, here's the next article. LAPD officers charged with falsifying gang records could disrupt over 750 criminal cases. And that's cases, not people, but cases. So, each of those cases could be around multiple people, right? So, I don't know. I mean, we've already talked about, police brutality and police corruption, and this just goes to show, like, yeah, all that hard work that you put in, and then you want to go crying about how, like, people are vilifying the police. Well, here it is right there. That's why. I mean, and there is an argument to be had about, like, oh well, they're doing it to put away bad people. Well, they are the fucking bad people too. It doesn't help anybody. I don't know. I guess that blunt is working a little bit, but all right, let's see. I'll do a couple more for you guys. This one is Portland. God damn it! Speaking of Portland, Portland sees peaceful night of protests following withdrawal of federal agents. So I guess they pulled out, and there were still some protests, and lo and behold, no violence. Because all the violence has happened because of police interaction. I mean, now I will give them that there were obviously, actual rioters in some cases, especially very early on during the protests, back in June, early June. Wow, time flies in a pandy, huh? But and I mean there have been police injured during what actions they've been doing to kind of disrupt protests and stuff, right? But those are all police initiations, and well, I don't have the article for this, but apparently so far, like, during the protests, there's only been like one police officer death from what I've heard, or from what I've read, and it was from another officer who thought he was shooting at a protester who was coming up to his house, but really it was just one of his fellow officers, coming to do like coming to borrow something, and he was in like plain clothes, and he basically just shot at someone outside of his door. So yeah, think about that. All right, let's change the subject with the last one. This one is well, it's not infuriating, it's not disheartening, it's just kind of gross. Coke as in Coca-Cola, with coffee will hit U.S. stores next year. I forgot to, that sounds nasty. So they actually got a couple pictures here. There's Coca-Cola with coffee. They have caramel, dark blend, and vanilla. Ugh. I'm not entirely sure what that would look like, but yeah. Fuck. Sorry, it's also very late, but yeah, it just sounds nasty. I don't want Coke in my coffee. Or Coke with coffee. I don't want coffee, really, either. I've never been a big fan of coffee. Alright, well, let's get into some other topics. I'm sure you guys remember, I talked about this a little bit, the whole thing with they're out there trying... I was going to say they're out there trying to cancel Crystalia, and right now my voice is trying to cancel itself. Still hitting puberty. 33 years old. I think. Yes. No. Yeah, I'm 33. This must be what getting old it feels like. And I will be 34 in October. Hooray me. So anyways, now people have started coming after another comedian that I like, and part of his crew, comedian and actor Brian Callen is, well, he's being accused of straight up rape. And now the thing here is he's been taking a different approach to this. He's not, shutting up and disappearing, and he's not just letting, things kind of wash out. He right away issued a statement saying, this is a complete lie and utter bullshit. And put some stuff away here. I'm kind of taking his word on this one because, well, I mean, based on what he said, he put out like a video statement, and it's at most the only thing. I mean, at most I could see there being a case for mixed signals and maybe not understanding stuff. And also, this accusation is from, what was it, like 1990? 99, sorry. He is an old guy, but it was from a while ago. Long time ago. I wasn't even in high school then. So I graduated high school in 2005, so that means that I would have either been in 6th or 7th grade. But, and I mean, the other thing, yeah, there's just such a mismatch. The accusation and what he's saying, or his statement that he pulled out. And he's basically just saying that this person completely lied. And, there were some other, there were a couple other allegations as well, but nothing, at all serious. Just, him potentially getting some shit stuck in my throat. But no, just like, him maybe getting a little handsy and, maybe saying or doing the wrong thing, but, nothing illegal. But anyways, the point is that, This actually reminds me of another story of that I knew or a couple people I knew in college, actually, both sides of the story. The guy, someone I knew in college accused a guy I knew in college of rape. And the thing is like it literally just, I think it just came down to, I guess she, got really drunk and ended up having sex with a guy that, she wasn't really that into, right? But, I think in situations like those, you eventually end up being coerced or kind of like pushed by, maybe the people around you, and also by your own insecurities into, just being like, oh, yeah, they did, they did do something wrong to me. That was rape, but it ended up being, just a complete and total lie, right? And they admitted as much, and in that case, this guy, it was actually more of a friend, right? But everything kind of ended up okay for him, but it was kind of a wake up call, and which, well, there's a couple things I won't say of my own beliefs, but one thing I do want to add to this story, as far as with Delia and Callen, another podcast that I also listen to is, if any of you know who Ari Shafir is, he has one that he does, every once in a while, because he doesn't really get sponsored for it, and just kind of does it, whenever he wants, only when he's like really interested, right? Well, one guest that he had on sometime last year was the infamous Milo Yiannopoulos, who a lot of people think he's like a right-wing activist, when really he's just a massive troll. For those of you who don't know, he's the one who he's the one who put out like a article basically saying that the OK sign, which literally just means okay, is, so he said that it's actually stands for white power, because you have their fingers from the W and then the P, and the thing is before he said this, it was completely not true at all. But the thing is that, a lot of, Trumpers and, white supremacists and apologists or whatever, they just fucking bought it. And they're like, yeah, that is ours. And we've been doing that forever. Even though we don't remember ever doing that and never actually did do that, the guy's got a point. Now, let me add on a little thing. There was a study a while back about, people who are, in more of the conservative party. And apparently conservatives have a noted lack of empathy and empathy-related thoughts, and also an enlarged fear center in their brains. I'm not getting into eugenics. I'm just saying that, there's something there. And now, I did talk on a previous episode about, the individual self and the communal self. Well, the thing about the communal self is that, there is a place technically within the human race for everyone, both, especially on the liberal and the conservative end of the scale. But that place only exists if you're, using it to enmesh and coexist together. So if you take just a conservative, if you're just like 100% complete conservative, that means that you are giving space and must allow for the opposite to exist on the liberal side. And you have to acknowledge that, and you have to make peace with that, right? You have to listen. People just aren't listening anymore, so. But yeah, anyways, so people got gullible and started believing that the OK sign was actually a white power sign, which is just anyone with half a brain will tell you just how fucking stupid that is, right? So anyways, that's why Milo is kind of famous. But what I really wanted to tell you is that, so one thing about him is he really has like his finger on the pulse when it comes to cancel culture, which is another phrase that I hate, but again, it sums up the whole topic quite nicely. And he said on that episode, actually, you know what? Let me see if I can actually find how long ago this was, because this episode was... All right, where are you? This episode was a while ago. Okay. Ari Shafir, Skeptic Tank. Ooh, there was another new episode not that long ago, but I want to see all episodes. Where is it? Heard that. Oh, jeez. I've skipped a few. Goddamn. Here was, okay. It was back in the middle of October is when he had his episode of Milo. And at one point, Ari asked, like, because, cancel culture was kind of a thing already. And so at one point, Ari asked, like, hey, who's next? And he was saying that apparently that there are people who are, gearing up and starting to build a case to try to get rid of Joe Rogan and the people around him. Namely, getting rid of him by making the people around him look like shit, right? So, which means that for the last few months, there has been some unknown group of people who have been, coercing, sort of planting the seeds in anybody that they could find who has something against these people, right? Or just whoever. So it's... Yeah, and then I think that combined with the fact that, now nobody has anything to do because of this fucking pandemic. So everybody's been locked in their homes and scared shitless, I might add. There are a lot of people who, I'll get into that a little bit later, but a lot of people have just been, just cooped up in their homes with nothing to do. And it's like, oh, this is my chance. This is the fucking time. So that, and a lot of this also started when Rogan got that Spotify deal for, what was it, $100 million over, like, it was either 3 or 5 years. It was a big price tag. So that, sorry, my nose is starting to itch. But, if someone's gunning for you, and then they see that you're getting that kind of money that's going to be like, let's do this type of thing. So I think, the combination of that's kind of what happened. And I guess the groundwork's already been kind of laid. But anyways, so yeah, they went after D'Elia, got him to shut up for now. Hopefully not for long. I think Chris D'Elia, he should come back. He has here's the thing, not just about cancel culture, but, in Twitter in general. I think because Twitter is where all this shit is, right? But I think I remember hearing something that apparently only like 1 in 10 people in the world really have like social media. And then as far as people who really push, or people who are like, quote unquote influencers, and also who like kind of push the whole cancel culture thing, is like 1%, 1 or 2% of all social media users. Not that very many people. They're just very loud, which is not a virtue. Shut the fuck up. But, well, I'm not gonna shut the fuck up because I'm cool. My point being is that what I think D'Elia should do is he should just go back to his podcast. Just start doing it again, because, I mean, I don't know. Well, he did have the problem with like his agency. Of course, after his allegations came out, his agency just dropped him because, they're cunts. And, well, he did have a show that he was working on, or was going to work on, for Netflix, so that's obviously done. And then he had a movie that was supposed to come out later this year, which, I mean, a lot of movies got pushed back, but I don't know what's happening with that anymore. It was that zombie movie that he was in, that filmed, it was last fall, I think. It was either last fall or very, very early this year. I don't remember exactly when, but yeah. I mean, I think if he just started doing the podcast again, someone would sponsor him, right? And he has plenty of real fans who would still listen to him. And I mean, he could maybe even do like a Patreon or something like that. There are plenty of people who would, would still listen to him, because I don't know. I think that, I think at most he's probably just guilty for, being a bit of a poonhound, but who isn't? I mean, I've said and done stupid shit too. And, I try to make up for my own mistakes and the things that I say. My biggest problem is whenever, people just don't listen to when you're trying to make things right, which I think is, kind of what he's dealing with. He probably just doesn't feel that he can say anything or try to make things right, because he probably doesn't feel like anybody would really listen. And, well, I especially feel bad too, because, he was also a new dad when all this happened. So, which I'm sure that, people who come after him, people who are into cancel culture and all that bullshit, when they don't take those into account. They don't care about your family. They don't care about, anything good. They're just, they're the ones who, they're the horrible, they're the bad people. All right. They're the baddies, so to speak. Fuck them. I don't know. At the same time, it also does kind of, I have to, I have to watch, people do have to kind of watch themselves as well. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope he'll be fine eventually. So yeah, they came after D'Elia. Now they came down as well, who's also another kind of person in the group. And they tried coming after old Uncle Joey Diaz, but he is too much of a motherfucker for that to have any effect on him. He was in the unique position where he also wasn't, working like with any network or anything like that, because that's the main thing about cancel culture, is they only go after people who are working for like some sort of entertainment network. That includes the news, because the news is entertainment anymore. Fuck them too. But the point being is that they will go after people that they know will get canned by their network or whoever is giving them some kind of offer, who is pandering to what they believe is their core audience. But it's really, again, it's just really just that loud ass 2%. So a lot of it. Well, the cancel culture started with the whole Me Too thing, right? And in the beginning, it was good, and now it is it's a bull in a china shop now. It's just out of control. So we'll see what happens. But the point being is that Joey Diaz does not have any of there's nothing you can cancel him from. He's got his podcast and a couple sponsors. All he really needs until stand-up comes back. And then he'll have his tours again. I mean, look at look at Louis C.K. He was one of the early guys to get taken out, so to speak. He before lockdown, he started doing shows again and all that stuff too. And he still has all his money, unless he unless he spends like a motherfucker, in which case nothing I can do there. But so yeah, it's definitely a very a targeted and premeditated thing. And hopefully everything goes well for the victims, so to speak. Yeah, one last thing I want to talk about is kind of interesting to me. So like I said, I talked before about how people have the individual self and the communal self. Well, I've also thought more about how does the brain and the mind work. Well, one thing that I've had trouble kind of figuring out, like a good way to explain what I believe as far as the correlation in the mind and the brain. So I'm just trying to figure out where I can get my hands so I can actually see what I'm doing, because my left hand's over here. You can't really see it. You can see my ink though nowadays. But so the mind being your mental construct, where your memories and your thought processes are, right? And of course the brain being the actual physical organ. So like and now also I'm an atheist. I don't believe in religion beyond the whatchamacallit. I believe in the teaching of virtues. And that's like the only good thing about religion, which means that you don't need the religion to know how to be a good person. And what was that quote? If you need the fear of God to be a good person, then you're not a good fucking person. That's just how it is. But anyways, It actually came to me the other day when I was partaking in my usual edibles. I realized the best way to explain the mind-brain connection is, well, for anybody who's into like fantasy, like fiction, like fantasy or sci-fi, or knows anything about religion actually. You know what a pentagram is, right? It's the 5-pointed star upside down in some form. And the idea is that it supposedly creates like some kind of connection to the devil or hell or Satan or whatever, right? So now that's a simple, easy concept to understand. You would, if you're like a fantasy or sci-fi type of thing, you would draw you would make a pentagram to open a gateway to wherever, or to commune with Satan, right? Well, now what's like a more let's do like a more complicated version of that. Imagine that the brain, the brain organ is like a pentagram, in that. Let me wet my whistle. Wet my whistle. Before getting into it, so if you imagine that the physical matter of the brain being the placement of the folds within the gray matter, and the as well as the neurons and axons, or whatever the fuck they're called, brain cells. Like the placement of those brain cells. So the gray matter, the folds, the placement of the cells, and the flow of the current that goes around them. All this together is what kind of generates a mental construct space that your mind can exist within. And because the thing is that the mind, the actual mind, isn't a physical thing. Technically we don't know where it exists, right? There's some theories that it's like a divine spirit, or that the mind is like its own small dimension, which I think actually comes a lot closer to what it actually is. But that would imply that your mind exists in spite of your body. And the theory there is that if something changes or you die, that the mind becomes disconnected from our physical universe and then just kind of drifts away and gets. So I think what actually happens is that your brain serves two functions. One, to create this pattern, or to exist in this pattern that will create, or that will create the space for your mind to exist and be tethered to your brain. And then two, to store the mental information within that pattern, or within that mental space that is created by the brain. And well, I came to that conclusion because every brain is different, just like every body is different. And also histories and studies show us that any change to the brain, you get knocked around a bit or a piece is removed, it will change the state of that mental space. Like for example, the what was the Hannibal movie with Ray Liotta? I think it was I think it was just Hannibal. Or the one where he he knocks out Ray Liotta and sedates him, cuts open his head, and kind of like wakes him up, and he's actually like feeding him pieces of his own brain. And as he's taking pieces out, he will lose memories or certain functions. And so yeah, I imagine like if you like remove a piece of the brain, then a part of the mental space construct just sort of gets lost, disappears, and then that's just an area that your mind can no longer inhabit. And then, well, we're also lucky enough to kind of understand, what areas of the brain form certain areas of the mental construct that the mind inhabits to perform certain thought processes or actions that govern our body or our thoughts, right? But even that's done by seeing and measuring the firing of your neurons within your brain, or whatever the fuck they're called. Anyways, that's just my theory of how that works. And well, it's something that I haven't really that from anywhere before. You know what I mean? And I like it because it doesn't involve religion or some other divine bullshit. It's more to me, it's more grounded in reality. You know what I mean? And also, part of the reason, I also like it as an atheist because it doesn't take away from the human experience, if that makes sense. I believe that, a lot of religions or something like that, they just don't give credit to, nature, really, or, how the human body works. You know what I mean? Like what's that? I'm sure you've seen like those old, what's that old saying or cartoons? Somebody gets, goes to the hospital, the doctor saves their life, and they say like, oh, thank God. Like, no, thank your fucking doctor. They're the ones who saved you. Like, oh, well, God gave them the skills to save you. No, they had the opportunity and the drive to do so. Give yourself some fucking credit. Give the doctor some fucking credit, even unless they're, a shitty doctor, which is a whole different thing, which I'm not going to get into. But, give yourself some goddamn credit, everybody.